Right now is the best time to be a filmmaker ever in the history of filmmaking. Film quality is better than it's ever been. Why would I abandon film at a time when it's the best possible time to be shooting film? You know, and I'm not spending any money on the R&D. They are. It doesn't cost me anything to improve my image quality.
You know, filmmaking it's the best classroom there is. Every time I make a film, I'm learning something new because I'm having to research something, a world perhaps that I'm not involved in.
I feel very lucky that I actually learned how to be a filmmaker with film. I feel like it made me a better filmmaker. It made me be able to think things through in a different way than you can when you're learning just with video.
One of the things that always amazes me is with the plethora of film schools and video schools that people are teaching the students video first and digital first, probably because they think, oh, well, it's cheaper and it's easier to do. What goes wrong there is that it teaches students so many bad habits. They should be concentrating first on shooting film. And one of the greatest tools to teach somebody filmmaking is a spring-wound Bolex or Bell & Howell camera, where you get a 100-foot roll and you've got to shoot that piece in basically 2.5 minutes.
To a young filmmaker, I wouldn't discount film, but it requires a discipline. You know, and I personally like that discipline, that tension of film, because the tension of film focuses you to what do I really want to say.
There's an art and a craft to it, and that's a really important word, I think, art. Anybody can point a video camera, but the process and the discipline of shooting on film, I think, develops a certain style and art form that is based on the discipline of shooting a film.
The introduction of 600 channels has caused us to realize that the first few seconds of a commercial have to do two things. They have to identify what it is you're selling, and they also have to be very compelling visually.
You have to engage them, and that's affected everything we've done on a visual level, on a conceptual level. We have that 30-second window in with a consumer, and it has to grab them, and it has to deliver in a very singular way what you're trying to communicate.
But Lexus has developed a headlight that actually rotates up to 15 degrees to reveal what's around the bend before you get to the bend.
Using film legitimizes and adds a layer of credibility to the product that you're trying to sell.
We just finished working on a film called Man on Fire. It's so unconventional in how it's shot. Tony Scott, the director, talked with me about it before shooting the film. He did a process with the DP that was kind of a cross process, giving the look of the film a different change than you would normally expect in a flashback or a flash forward. I can see how that now has driven our advertising. It's what the film is saying, it's what the stock is saying, it's what the colors are saying. It's the mood of the film that you can try to get into 30 seconds or 2 minutes and 30 seconds to pull people into being able to experience the entire movie.
I had a tourism job for a province that we were doing here a while back.
Wake up. We have another great day planned for you in Nova Scotia.
Beautiful oceans, mountains, I mean, everything, absolutely everything. And they wanted to shoot on video. I mean, it was criminal, it was heartbreaking. Finally, we just said, look, here's what videotape is. Here's what film can do. And once we showed them that, it was great. The campaign turned out to be award-winning.
I just did a thing for Adidas where we had 3-4 cameras rolling. I just know as a director cameraman, I often go from maybe 3 or 4 days out from a shoot, deciding that instead of having 1 or 2 cameras, we're now gonna have 4 or 5 cameras. Like, to do that using ViperCam and to, within a couple days, switch. Like, I mean, like, for very little effect on the budget, I can do that. We can get a couple Arri 3s, and we can use the same set of primes, and we can have 3 or 4 cameras covering something.
I just finished a commercial for Honda. Most of our work was actually on the track, inches from the car, shooting the commercial in 35 millimeter using a high-speed camera car. The whole idea was to put the audience in the middle of the action. They do have the little tiny video cameras that are stuck on the cars, but those are not very mobile and not very dynamic. So we find that the only real way to record that sort of stuff is to shoot with Super 16 cameras that we hang on the car.
Shooting Lexus commercials specifically, we need the quality of that work to be as elevated as the vehicles themselves. I think at this point, film is really the best way to achieve that. We could not have achieved the powerful look of some of the film that we've used with other mediums like video. It just would not have been able to strike that visual note that we need.